Welcome to another episode of Service to Humanity. My name is Habiba Zoksok, your guide. The Conditional Cash Transfer Programme, one of the components of the National Social Investment Programs, is another tool used by the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration to build and uplift 100 million poor and vulnerable Nigerians out of poverty. And so, many households and individuals have benefited. More households are getting enrolled into the program. Our crew in Abuja interviewed the national coordinator of the CCT, where she shed more light on the program, successes achieved so far, and future plans for beneficiaries. In another story, we shall look at the beneficiaries of the Empower and Build program who graduated in Kaduna last week. They will also shed light on their future plans because of the training they have received. All of this and more after the news highlights coming up shortly. Please stay tuned.
I tell you, anytime we're not producing, the fish farmers suffer. The people we engage suffer. The people we feed, that we give our fish heads to, they feel it. I'll only beg the government to continue with this and make it run more.
We used to have children crying, parents will be chasing them to come to school, and they will be at the gate, they will be crying, they will hold on to their plate, they will not want to come into the gate.
When they are not giving the food, the attendance was very low.
Now the children are always fit and healthy because of the food we eat.
To make them attend class every day.
I eat rice, meat, and carrots.
I want to use this opportunity to thank the federal government for the feeding program.
The program starts with the Management Diary, where we bring you news and current happenings in the ministry and her agencies. In the news, federal government disburses 20,000 naira cash grant to beneficiaries in Gombe, Cross River, and Bayelsa states, just as NEMA receives another 140 stranded Nigerians from Niger Republic. Don't go away.
The federal government has disbursed 20,000 naira each to 9,111 beneficiaries in Gombe, Bayelsa, and Cross River states. According to the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farouk, the grant is part of the Conditional Cash Transfer and Cash Grant for Vulnerable Groups policy of the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Speaking at the flag-off of the Cash Grant for Vulnerable Groups and onboarding of Independent Monitors Trip 2, Umar Farouk expressed confidence that the administration's varied direct cash to citizens will boost income and productive assets of beneficiaries. She added that the Conditional Cash Transfer, Cash Grant for Vulnerable Groups and onboarding of Independent Monitors would ensure productive activities that would generate more income and improve the living standard of the beneficiaries. 3,351 beneficiaries from Cross River State will get a one-off grant of 20,000 naira each, while 50 independent monitors will get 30,000 naira monthly devices and engagement letters. In Bayelsa, 2,219 vulnerable persons will benefit, as well as 40 independent monitors. For Gombe State, a total of 3,541 vulnerable persons will also benefit from the grant. Another group of 140 Nigerians stuck in Agadez, Niger Republic, have been received by the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA) on Saturday, 30th July 2022. This was confirmed by Dr. Nuruddin Abdullahi, the NEMA coordinator for the Kano Territorial Office, who was on ground to welcome the returnees. According to him, the returnees were received from Agadez at approximately 9:38 p.m. in 3 deluxe buses under the supervision of the International Organization for Migration (IOM). The returnees, he said, were brought back under a voluntary repatriation program and hail from Kano, Katsina, Plateau, Lagos, and Cross River State. They comprised of 10 children, 6 female and 4 male, 100 male and 30 female adults.
Poverty has been a persistent challenge in Nigeria. Despite previous GDP growth and the government's efforts to eradicate poverty, this deplorable condition has led to food insecurities, high maternal and infant mortality cases, diseases related to poor environmental health, low school attendance, and inadequate means of livelihoods, most times resulting in gender inequalities. In order to create the conditions for addressing the identified challenges, the federal government of Nigeria in 2016 partnered with the World Bank under the National Social Safety Nets project to support the development of a safety net program aimed at reducing the effect of absolute poverty and promote shared prosperity by providing cash transfers to the poorest and most vulnerable households in Nigeria. That gave birth to the Conditional Cash Transfer Programme, one of the clusters of the National Social Investment Programs. Our crew interacted with the National Coordinator of the National Cash Transfer Office, where she spoke more about the mandate of her office, modes of operations, and successes. Let's have that interaction.
For you to use and take care of your family.
The federal government Conditional Cash Transfer Programme, also known as Household Uplifting Programme Conditional Cash Transfer, through the National Cash Transfer Office, is charged with the responsibility of financing regular and reliable safety nets transfers to targeted poor and vulnerable households. CCT is delivered in a manner that is accessible to program beneficiaries by providing targeted transfers to poor and vulnerable households under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. National Coordinator of the NCTO, Halima Shehu, tells us more about the CCT program.
The Household Uplifting Programme, popularly known as the Conditional Cash Transfer Programme, is one of the National Social Safety Net Programme, which was established by the present administration of General Muhammadu Buhari to tackle issues on persistent poverty. And so this was in partnership with the World Bank in 2016. The funding of this program is from three different sectors. One of it is the federal government, and the Abacha restituted funds, and then the World Bank funds as well. It is a program targeted to uplift and change the lives of the poorest of the poor and the most vulnerable across the country.
The National Coordinator speaks about the beneficiaries of the CCT and how they are selected.
When the program started, the target was to reach 1 million households. But as it is now, over time, we have over 1.9 million beneficiaries in our National Beneficiary Register. The National Beneficiary Register is the register for the poorest of the poor that are eligible for this program. So the selection criteria starts from our sister office. Like I told you, the program is called National Social Safety Net Program, which has 2 PIUs. One of the office is in charge of coordinating the National Social Register, and the implementing office is the National Cash Transfer Office, which is my office. And then we mine our beneficiaries from the National Social Register, which is a national register for the poorest of the poor and the most vulnerable in the country. So we mine based on eligibility criteria. There are different types of targeting processes that they use in that office, and then we go to the register to mine exactly the kind of beneficiaries we want. An enrollment process takes place at community level. So from this office, our enrollment team visits the communities where our beneficiaries live, and then they're enrolled through a data capture into our beneficiary register. ID cards are given to these beneficiaries to say, you've been registered, you are part of the beneficiaries that will be receiving the 5,000 naira monthly grant.
With the current spate of insecurity in Nigeria, some parts of the country have become difficult for agents of the NCTO to carry out disbursement of grants to beneficiaries of those affected areas. Halima Shehu shares with us the measures taken to overcome that challenge and the progress on that.
In the past, since the inception of the program, it has always been cash in hand kind of payment. But as time goes on, like you said, part of the reason why the program needed to find ways to make payment is the insecurity we're faced with in the country. As it is at this point, we have stopped cash in hand payment. We have fully digitized the process, which is part of the mandate of the program, to financially include these beneficiaries. This is to open other doors of opportunities for them for other interventions, even if NAP's projects come to a closure. So as it is, we have fully digitized. It will interest you to know that our beneficiaries who were unbanked as at the time when we started this program are fully banked now. We have opened over 1.9 million accounts across commercial banks for our beneficiaries. So they all have Nubank accounts, and we've commenced distribution of debit cards. In fact, I think we only have about 8 states to go.
Some beneficiaries of the CCT program had not received their payments for months due to some challenges at the NCTO. Recently, all backlogs of payment were cleared. Halima Shehu speaks on that.
I took over this office exactly a year ago, and it is no doubt that when I came, there were a lot of backlogs pending. In some states, backlogs of 2 years, but that is not because there were no reasons. The office was going through a lot of processes, which was to strengthen the payment system. So payments to our beneficiaries was delayed. When I came on board, we fastened the process. That was exactly what I did. We quickened it. We made sure that all backlog approval was gotten from the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, who is passionate about this project. Like I said, it's the government's pet project. So once we got the approval, we swung into action and we made sure that these beneficiaries received their payment.
Speaking about the sustainability of the CCT program, the national coordinator said that it is not the responsibility of the government alone, but also that of every Nigerian.
The government is working on a bill to see that this whole project becomes a kind of agency. Since we have a structure from the national level, to the state level, to the local government level, to the community, to the wards level, it will interest you to know that this program is in 36 states and the FCT. We're in 609 local governments. We're in 48,000 communities. We are across 6,327 political wards in the country. So there's a structure. It's a structure that any kind of intervention coming into the country can leverage on.
In closing, the national coordinator of the NCTO has this message for all Nigerians.
Nigerians are quick to castigate programs like this. They should come out and see the beauty of the program. And if they have doubt, we have channels in which they can find out the genuinity of this program. But what we get slashes, bashings, there's hardly anyone that you see that will say you're doing well. It is just because we are passionate about doing it and we know what we're doing and we know that there are accountability processes in place. So it is a motivation for us. And the fact that we can even come out and speak to the media about this program. And Nigerians should definitely know that the program has been done and we're still doing it. And for us as an office and as a ministry, we have delivered.
ṣàǹfààní gidigidi lára tèmi nílé mi o àtàwọn ọmọ mi o torí ara oúnjẹ ara pákídé ẹ̀mí àṣegàrí à ń tẹ̀bà à ń ṣèbẹ̀ à ń jẹun ìjọba ṣeun lọ́wọ́ á ràn wọ́n lọ́wọ́ ètò tó dáa ni tó fáìn tó dáa ni torí ìjọ yẹn gan tí wọ́n pé owó yẹn ẹlòmíì kò sí nǹkan kan pé bóyá bákan jíjẹ ṣùgbọ́n gba adé báyìí wọ́n kọ́kọ́ yà ayọ̀ 2000 wọ́n ṣèbẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ inú wọn dùn ara ráìsì àdàṣẹ́ńjì tó kù sórí ìka pákí pé ká lè máa rí mu jẹun díẹ̀díẹ̀ ìjọba ṣe.
You are still watching Service to Humanity, your window into the affairs of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development as it carries out its mandate. Few weeks ago, we brought you success stories of the Empower and Build beneficiaries at the Skills Upgrade and Vocational Training Center in Kaduna. Last week, the beneficiaries graduated from their trainings and were issued with certificates. Our crew was at the closing ceremony to bring us details of the event. Let's see how it went.
Beneficiaries of the NBuild program at the Kaduna State Skills Upgrade and Vocational Training Center, SUVTC, under the Ministry of Labor and Employment have graduated. The NBuild Centers is a training program that is designed to build competence and capacity of beneficiaries on vocational skills and artisanships ranging from carpentry, plumbing, fitting and piping, masonry, electricals, agri-tech, among others.
So today we are issuing them their certificates.
The Principal and Chief Trade Testing Officer at the SUTVC Kaduna, Engineer Adegboyega Oladesami, at the closing ceremony in Kaduna State expressed delight and satisfaction with the program. According to him, the center has provided adequate knowledge and support to the beneficiaries on how to equip themselves with the technical know-how of various skills acquired.
Today we are issuing them their certificates, the tools that they were given for the training, and also their logbooks so that they can proceed to the IT industrial training part of the training. So that is what we came here to do today.
He also highlighted some of the measures put in place to monitor the apprenticeship phase organized for the beneficiaries.
They have what they call master artisans. Those are the instructors that conduct the trainings for the trainees, and they oversee the trainees in the apprenticeship phase and guide them. Some of them will do it here, some will do it in other big construction companies, but they're allowed to look for the companies that they want to, and then the ones that can't find any company, we acquire them here and then we still train them on the apprenticeship phase. So what they do is they learn like sites, they go to sites, they learn how to use the tools that they're given so that they become masters themselves in the trades, and then they can set up their businesses.
Sambo Kajang is the instructor for plumbing, fitting and piping, while Abdul Qadir Danjuma Isa is also the instructor on carpentry. They both explained how the training fared.
We learn a lot of things. We start with they can do complete piping, which is hot and cool. Then they can do laying of waste pipe. They can mount overhead tank. They can install borehole. We mount WC. We did a lot of things with them. So I taught them the basic things that they need to do in terms of if they went to site, you should focus on what you are able to do so that the owner of that work will be happy with you. and I able to tell them that the single piping is without water heater, then the double piping is hot and cool. So if you have that as a basic, that means you are a plumber. But if you cannot do double piping, that means you are not a plumber.
So the first thing when the student come around, the first thing we normally taught them is we show them the tools, what the tools are like and what are they used for. Then after then, we go to the tape, because if you are a carpentry, there is no anyhow you can do without the measurement. So first you have to know the measurement, you have to know what you are going to produce from the measurement. Then that is the first month we taught them strictly about the tape. Then subsequently we now show them how to saw, how to handle the tools, how to use it, a particular tools for a particular kind of work. So we teach them how to saw the wood and all that, and how to make use of the tape. Like the time frame is not that much for them to learn a lot about the carpentry, but few of them they be able to learn one or two things. Like some of them if you give them to produce size 2, they can produce it for you. They can do that very well.
At the end of the ceremony, beneficiaries were presented with certificates on each trade they were trained. Some of them had this to say.
Well, I feel so excited. I'm happy. I'm so happy. It's a joyful day for me today. I'm so grateful for what the government have done for us. This certificate we collect today, I'm so happy about it. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to be counted among those that will collect this certificate today.
Oh, I'm very excited. I'm really grateful to empower, or let me say federal government at home. So I'm excited, really. I feel like a graduate.
Some of the trainees also spoke on the skills they have acquired.
So far, we have learned the basic rudiments of building construction. We have learned the different tools and then different kinds of buildings, and the basic things that would help us, that is the theoretical aspects of building. And right now I can say we're ready to go practice and actually see what it's like to be really involved in it.
I've learned much in electrical department, much as types of transformers, types of ladders and fusing, the way you fuse it and much. I'm very, very delighted.
Some of the beneficiaries also expressed their appreciation to the ministry and also shared their future plans.
I feel excited, I feel happy because the training has lasted for over 4 months, and then they have been great, and it's also a part of encouragement for us because they've given us the tools to work with. Just like doing the theory, we are also expected to do the practicals, and so we are very excited and happy that we got these tools so as to go out and find something for ourselves. I'm very ready now. I feel so equipped because the government have tried a lot in bringing this program to us, taking most of us out of the streets and giving us a better life so that we can be able to do something and make meaning out of our lives.
And that's our package on this episode of Service to Humanity. Join me again same time next week and same station for more on the strides of the ministry and her agencies in reaching the nation's most vulnerable with the initiatives of the federal government to better their lives. My name is Halima, saying good night and God bless Nigeria.